Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. The afternoon rush kept Esme on toes, focusing intently on orders and operating the machines. But gradually, it felt more natural handing over lattes and iced coffees with a smile. People were patient when orders took a little longer. During a mid-afternoon lull, the front door opened and a lanky guy with curly hair sauntered up to the counter. His name tag matched Sarah's. This must be her brother Alex.
"Hey, you must be Esme. I'm Alex, Sarah's brother."
He introduced himself with an easy grin. Esme smiled back, nerves fading a bit. "Nice to meet you. Sarah mentioned you when she was training me earlier."
"Only good things, I hope,"
Alex laughed. He told Esme his usual order, iced coffee with cream and vanilla. Esme concentrated on getting the proportions right, handing the cup over with a shy, "Let me know if I made it okay." "Tastes perfect, thanks." Alex took a long sip. "So, Sarah said you just graduated? Got any college plans yet?" They chatted for a few minutes about possible majors and campus life. Alex was a sophomore at the local university, living in the dorms. He seemed so comfortable being who he was. Esme hoped to feel that self-assured soon. When the after-work rush started up, Alex headed out with a friendly, "See you around." Esme felt a rush of gratitude. It was comforting to meet someone further along in transition, thriving in their true self. Over the next few weeks, Alex became a regular. Esme looked forward to his visits, chatting with him about interests like movies and books between taking orders. It all felt natural and easy. One afternoon, when business was slow, their conversation turned more personal.
"You know, when I first came out, I was terrified about judgment or worse," Alex admitted. "But luckily, my family and most people were supportive, and I found resources to start medically transitioning too."
Esme leaned forward, intrigued but shy about asking too many questions. "Medically transitioning?"
"Yeah, like hormone therapy and stuff."
Alex stirred his iced coffee absently.
"There's an amazing doctor here who handles it all. I've been on testosterone for a year now, and it's been life-changing. My sister said you're interested in that kind of thing too, right?"
Esme nodded, trying not to get too hopeful. "I'd love to start hormone therapy, but I'll have to save up money first and convince my parents."
"Here, I'll write down the clinic's information."
Alex grabbed a napkin and pen.
"Seriously, call and make a consultation appointment. The doctor is great about working with insurance and payment plans, and you'd be in good hands."
He slid the napkin across the counter. Esme glanced at it and then back up, smiling gratefully. "Thank you, Alex. This means a lot." "Of course, I'm happy to help. Let me know if you have any other questions." He waved on his way out the door. Esme tucked the napkin securely in a pocket, heart lifting. Here was the first step to really transitioning medically, physically. All that remained was gathering courage to take it. That night, Esme left the napkin on Mom's pillow, along with a note. "His name is Alex. He works at the shop with me. He started transitioning in high school too and has been so supportive. He gave me the name of a doctor who oversees hormone therapy. Can we please call for a consultation?" The next evening, Mom knocked gently and entered Esme's room. In her hands were the napkin and a warm smile. "I called the clinic today, sweetie. We have an appointment next Thursday." Esme leaped up and threw both arms around her. "Thank you, Mom. I'm ready for this." She held Esme tight.
"I know. We'll get through this together."
The week crawled by agonizingly slowly. Esme could barely concentrate at work, distracted envisioning how the appointment might go. What if the doctor said no, or required months of counseling first? The doubts spiraled endlessly. At last, Thursday afternoon arrived. Esme sat in the waiting room beside Mom, leg jiggling anxiously. When a nurse called Esme's name, Mom gave a supportive arm squeeze. "You've got this." In the office, the doctor shook Esme's hand with a warm smile. "Hi, Esme. I'm Dr. Klein. Why don't you have a seat and tell me a little about yourself?" Haltingly at first, then with increasing confidence, Esme talked about realizing she was transgender back in middle school. The years of hiding interests and exploring gender expression in private, coming out to mom at graduation, then friends and coworkers. Dr. Klein listened intently, asking thoughtful questions. When Esme finished, she said, "Esme, I'm happy to start you on feminizing hormone therapy. I think it will significantly help ease your dysphoria and let your outside match your inner self." Esme sat stunned for a moment. "Really? I can start?"
Yes, provided your blood work comes back normal. Dr. Klein smiled. I'll have my office schedule that today. Then we can go over the effects and timeline and get your first prescription.
Esme found words again. "That would be amazing. Thank you so much." True to her word, after Esme's tests came back clear the following week, Dr. Klein called in a prescription for estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone blockers. We'll start low and slow and check in every few months to monitor your levels and progress, she explained. But I'm very optimistic. The first night handling those little pills and creams felt momentous. With Mom beside for moral support, Esme carefully reviewed the instructions and then took the first doses. They hugged excitedly after. "I'm so proud of you," Mom said. "You're going to blossom into your truest self now." The changes were subtle that first month, softening skin, budding chest. But by month 2, the effects accelerated. Esme marveled at a rounder face in the mirror, fuller lips, a true glow from inside. Even emotions felt more vivid. Joyful things left Esme elated, and sad ones brought easy tears. Mom just smiled knowingly when Esme got weepy over sappy commercials. It's the estrogen, makes everything feel more intense. Esme floated through days in an almost dreamy state, relishing each new shift physically and mentally. An unexpected bonus was hair. The increased estrogen made locks grow thicker and stronger. Now hair swished nearly to mid-back, where before it had always been thin and shaggy. Co-workers complimented the longer hair and glowing skin, noting how happy Esme seemed. Before long, Esme ditched the oversized hoodies and sweats of high school for fitting jeans and cute blouses. Esme took a deep breath as she appraised her reflection in the full-length mirror. Today marked another milestone, the first time going out presenting fully feminine in public, not just at home. Esme smoothed the fabric of a floral sundress that accentuated new curves. Light makeup highlighted big eyes and cheekbones. After a final spritz of perfume, Esme slipped on sandals and headed downstairs. In the kitchen, Mom looked up from her coffee with an approving smile. "You look beautiful, sweetheart. Are you sure you're ready for this big step?" Esme nodded, grabbing a piece of toast. "I'm nervous, but excited too. It feels right to finally be my true self 24/7. A beat later, Esme added shyly, "Do I really look okay?" Mom wrapped Esme in a hug. "You look perfect. Never forget that." After a final encouraging squeeze, she said, "Now get out there and show the world the amazing young woman I'm lucky to call my daughter." Esme blinked back happy tears and headed out the door. Today's shift at the coffee shop would be the first test of being out in public. The morning air felt extra crisp, each breath electric. Esme kept gaze mostly down during the short walk, heart pounding. At the shop door, Esme hesitated. A mixture of fear and anticipation swirled in the pit of the stomach. But Esme pictured Alex's easy confidence and Sarah's warm support. With their images bolstering courage, Esme pushed open the door. The morning rush was just winding down. Sarah looked up from wiping down tables, and a huge grin lit up her face. "Esme, you look absolutely gorgeous," she exclaimed, rushing over. Esme blushed, smiling back shyly. "Thanks, Sarah. I was so nervous to go out like this." Sarah waved a hand. "Please, you're rocking that dress, isn't she, Alex?" Alex glanced over with a low whistle. "Wow, looking great. I love the whole vibe you've got going." Their enthusiasm melted the last of Esme's nerves. This was right. Why had it taken so long to embrace her true self publicly? She thanked them again before heading to the back to stash her purse and tie on an apron. The day passed in a blur of foamy milk and steaming espresso. Regular customers did double takes, but didn't comment on Esme's changed appearance. By noontime, she almost forgot it was the first day presenting feminine, until the door chimed and a familiar gruff voice said, "Hey, kiddo!" Esme's head jerked up to see Dad standing by the counter, looking uncomfortable. He was supposed to be at work. "Oh, hi, Dad," Esme managed. "What are you doing here?" Dad rubbed the back of his neck, not quite meeting Esme's gaze. "Your mom mentioned you were dressing differently now. I figured I should see for myself." Alex appeared from the back room. "I've got this, Esme," he said kindly, nudging her aside to take Dad's order. Esme slipped into the back, hands shaking a little. Why did Dad always have to make things harder? A few minutes later, Alex brought 2 coffees over to a corner table where Dad sat staring intently out the window. Esme took a deep breath and went over too, smoothing her dress self-consciously. They sat in awkward silence until he finally spoke again. "So, this dress, you're going to wear stuff like that all the time now?" Esme traced a finger along the cup handle. "Yeah, Dad, this is me. I don't want to hide anymore." Silence fell again. Esme finally ventured, "So what do you think?" Dad looked her over critically, brow furrowed. "Well, you don't look as ridiculous as I expected, I guess." He shook his head as if it hardly mattered. "Wear what you want, Essie. You'll always be my son." With that, he gulped down the last of his coffee, dropped some cash on the table, and left without another word. Esme slumped back in the chair, trying to ignore the lump in the throat. Why did it have to be so hard with Dad? A gentle hand squeezed Esme's shoulder. She glanced up to see Alex looking down sympathetically. "Don't worry about him," Alex said. "Just focus on living your truth. The rest will follow in time." Esme managed a small, grateful smile. "Thanks, Alex." He always knew what to say. With his and Sarah's encouragement, the rest of the shift flew by. That night at dinner, Esme told Mom about Dad's visit. She just sighed knowingly. "He's trying. I know it hurts, but please be patient with him." Esme nodded silently. Dad's acceptance would come eventually, or so she hoped. For now, embracing her true self publicly felt too exhilarating to dwell on his lingering prejudice. The next weeks were filled with little triumphs that added up to life-changing transformation. Like the first time a sales clerk greeted Esme with, "Can I help you, miss?" Such a small thing, but it left her glowing. Co-workers and regular customers now saw Esme as she'd always seen herself, a young woman like any other. She started playing with makeup more, learning how to play up big eyes and plump lips. Each new outfit felt like trying on a possible self, until her style emerged, feminine and flirty, but still demure. On weekends, Esme window shopped at the mall with Sarah, giggling together over cute fashions. A particular pink floral dress with a swishy skirt caught Esme's eye each time they passed the store. But the price tag was too steep for an impulse buy. Then, one Saturday, Sarah convinced Esme to actually try the dress on, just for fun. The silk lining slipped coolly over skin, the full skirt swishing around legs. Esme stepped out of the fitting room and Sarah's eyes went wide. "Esme, you have to get it! You look amazing!" Esme blushed under the praise, turning to check the back view. The cut really did accentuate her figure in all the right ways. Biting her lip, Esme decided to splurge on the dress as a gift to herself. The joy of wearing something so feminine still felt new. That night, Esme carefully hung the dress in her closet, running a hand down the fabric. It symbolized the long journey to womanhood, all the triumphs and tribulations. Esme could hardly recognize the shy, repressed person of a year ago. Now 18, a new chapter was about to start at the local university. Esme would live in the dorms, take classes on literature and writing, join clubs, make new friends. It was the ideal fresh start as her true self. Mom insisted on commemorating the milestone with a family dinner the night before move-in. Esme changed outfits 3 times, finally deciding on the new floral dress and a touch of makeup. Might as well start college embracing feminine beauty. When Esme came downstairs, Mom greeted her with a long hug. "You look so grown up. I'm going to miss my girl so much." She held Esme tight, sniffling a little. "I'll miss you too, Mom." Esme blinked back tears of her own. They had come so far together. "But you can visit any time and I'll be home on breaks. It's not goodbye." The tender moment was interrupted by the front door swinging open. Dad lumbered in, home from work. He did a double take at Esme's outfit, but for once kept any commentary to himself. Dinner started off quiet, just the clink of silverware between bites. Finally, Dad spoke up gruffly.
"So, college, huh? You'll be on your own for the first time."
He shook his head, brow furrowed as always.
"Just try to keep your head on straight."
Esme resisted the urge to snap back. "I'll be fine, Dad. It's going to be an amazing experience." Mom jumped in to diffuse the tension. "Esme's going to thrive there. She can focus on her writing, make new friends, but we'll all need to adjust to having an empty nest."
"Yeah, I guess you're right,"
Dad conceded after a pause. He turned back to Esme.
"Well, study hard, I guess, and stay safe."
Esme just nodded silently. It was the closest he could manage to encouragement. After dinner, Esme finished packing the last few items in boxes. She carefully placed the floral dress on top, a burst of color for this new chapter. Esme took one last look around her childhood room before climbing into bed. The next morning was a flurry of loading up the car and triple-checking nothing was forgotten. Mom couldn't stop fussing over Esme, tucking hair behind her ears, straightening clothes. "You have everything? Text me when you get there. And remember, we're always here if you need anything." Esme took a deep breath as she looked up at the brick dorm building, swarms of students and parents lugging boxes inside. This was it, her new home and life for the next 4 years. The afternoon disappeared in a blur of unpacking and meeting roommates. Esme lucked out. Her randomly assigned roomies, Claire and Zoe, seemed laid back and nice. The 3 of them bonded while decorating their shared space with fairy lights and posters. By the time they finished setting up, they were chatting and joking easily. Esme already felt comfortable around them. "Should we go grab some dinner?" Zoe suggested, tossing a pillow onto her duvet. "I'm starving and have no idea where the dining hall is." They wandered across campus as the sun set, eventually finding the cafeteria. After loading up on pizza and pasta, the 3 new friends grabbed a table. "We should exchange numbers," Claire said, pulling out her phone. "That way we can meet up for meals and stuff." They quickly traded contact info. Esme couldn't stop smiling. Just a few hours in, and she already had the beginnings of an authentic college social life. It seemed unreal after spending senior year largely friendless. They lingered, chatting until yawns took over and headed back to their room. Esme snuggled under fresh sheets, feeling peaceful. This was exactly the do-over she had dreamed of. The first weeks of classes flew by in a blur of syllabi, readings, and new faces. Esme loved everything, even pulling all-nighters in the library with caffeinated classmates. This was the college experience she had missed out on as a shy teen. An elective fiction writing seminar quickly emerged as a favorite. The professor was laid back but brilliant, guiding discussions and workshopping student drafts with insight. Esme absorbed every word like gospel. After class one day, the professor asked Esme to stick around. Nerves immediately fluttered in her stomach. Was something wrong with her last story? But instead, the professor said warmly, "Esme, your writing has tremendous potential. Have you considered joining our campus literary magazine? We're looking for sharp editors and creative voices like yours." Esme left the classroom beaming, heart buoyant. People here judged her only by passion and skill, not gender history or awkward teen years. This was the life she had dreamed of. That afternoon, Esme headed to the literary magazine's first meeting. A dozen students milled around, chatting and snacking on cookies. Posters covered the walls asking for submissions. One girl waved Esme over, smiling brightly. "Hey, I'm Lucy, president of the Lit Mag. What's your name?" "Oh, I'm Esme. Your professor said I should check out the magazine." Lucy nodded enthusiastically. "We'd love to have you. Here, let me introduce you to some of the team." The other students welcomed Esme warmly as Lucy quickly gave her the rundown. They published fiction, poetry, essays, and art by students each semester. It was a laid-back but passionate group. By the end of the hour, Esme was chatting and laughing easily with the group. She left the meeting feeling buoyed, yet another circle where she effortlessly fit in. Over the next weeks, Esme split time between classes, late-night study sessions with Claire and Zoe, and literary magazine meetings. She was busier than ever, but everything just seemed to click socially. One blustery fall afternoon, Esme rushed into the magazine's office, cheeks flushed from the wind. Lucy glanced up with a smile. "Hey, we're just about to start discussing pieces for next issue. There's fresh coffee if you want some." Esme grabbed a mug and settled at the table next to Lucy. "Thanks. It is freezing out there today." "Right. I'm so ready for winter break and sunshine," Lucy giggled. "Maybe we should move this meeting to a coffee shop instead." Esme found herself laughing along easily. She had noticed herself lingering near Lucy in recent meetings, wanting any excuse to chat with the outgoing, creative girl. Being around Lucy left her glowy and giddy. The rest of the meeting flew by as they debated submissions. Esme stayed behind to help Lucy tidy up. She bit her lip, trying to work up the nerve to suggest getting coffee together sometime. Just then, Lucy turned to her with a hopeful smile. "So hey, a bunch of us from the magazine are getting dinner tonight. You should totally come." Esme blinked, caught off guard, then quickly nodded. "Yeah, that sounds really fun." Her heart lifted at the invitation. That night, over burritos and fries, Esme found herself sitting right next to Lucy, their arms occasionally brushing on the crowded bench. She was hyper-aware of Lucy's floral perfume and trilling laugh. When the food was gone, the group lingered chatting until one by one people started heading out. Soon, it was just Esme and Lucy left. An electric moment passed before Lucy said with a shy smile, "Want to go for a walk? It's pretty nice out now." They strolled across the quiet campus under the stars. At first, they stuck to safe topics like classes and writing projects, but gradually the conversation drifted to dreams for the future, childhood memories, views on life. Under the moonlight, Lucy seemed to glow. Esme could hardly glance away, noticing new details. The elegant swoop of her collarbone, a tiny star tattoo behind one ear. Time seemed suspended in the cool night air. All too soon, they looped back around to the dorms, pausing outside the entrance. "I had a really nice time tonight," she said softly. Esme hoped the darkness hid her furious blush. "Me too. We should hang out again soon." Floating on air, she drifted up to her room. Tonight had felt like the start of something new and exhilarating. Over the next weeks, Esme and Lucy grew closer and closer. They met for coffee to work on magazine layouts, took long walks discussing hopes and dreams, texted constantly about everything and nothing. One blustery Saturday, they spent the afternoon burrowed in Esme's dorm room watching cheesy movies. Zoe was away, and Claire was out studying, leaving them happily alone. Curled under a blanket, their hands found each other, fingers interlacing. Esme glanced over at Lucy's profile in the flickering light, heart overflowing. She leaned in slowly until their lips met in a soft kiss. Lucy kissed back eagerly, hand coming up to cup Esme's cheek. They traded slow, exploring kisses until the movie credits rolled. Lucy pulled back to nuzzle noses together. "I've been wanting to do that for weeks," she admitted with a grin. Esme smiled giddily. "Me too. I'm so glad one of us worked up the courage." Giggling together, Esme couldn't remember ever feeling this intoxicating rush of new love. After that, they became nearly inseparable, studying together, eating meals side by side, spending long nights trading secrets. Esme soaked up every moment, falling harder for Lucy's creativity, intelligence, and bold spirit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.